Hey, pal. You just blow in from Stupid Town. Hey, people still want to see movies, right? I get that we have all this other shit now for filling the void. More often than not, better than a movie can, because movies are all shit now, but I don't know, all the stuff you do on your phone or whatever, you do that alone in the comfort of your home. Like, if you were to tell someone that story from your life, the story of a funny thing that you saw on your phone once, the whole story you tell is that you were sitting on the couch, like in a blankie, like scrolling. Like, is this not a most pathetic image? Don't you really want to go outside and have something actually happen to you in real life? Like, surely there's nobody out there whose worldview is that real life is overrated. Like, it can be disappointing, tedious, taxing, and even frightening, which might discourage you from actively participating all the time, but you cannot convince me that any combination of drugs and computer algorithms could possibly adequately replace the profoundly rewarding phenomenon of even the most incredibly boring day spent outside. Even if for a whole day you were stuck in an airplane, you landed in some bullshit city for layover, sitting in a tiny and poorly designed airport for 4 hours, and then you found out that your flight got delayed yet another hour. That still happened to you. People talked to you and helped you and saw your fucking face, and you explored terrain, you charted new territory like a pioneer. You should be grateful, because I know for some of you, that's probably the most interesting story you'd ever have the pleasure to tell about your stupid fucking boring ass life. So sometimes movies happen in real life. When you go to see a movie, you are making something happen in real life. And sometimes shit actually happens in the movie. Not all the time, but sometimes the stuff that happens in the movie starts becoming something that happens to you. Because you've gone to a place to witness it, and now you're in this place where it's affecting you. And often you're with other people, all in the same place, and you get to feel affected together. The most magical thing is when a ton of people go to see a movie at the same time, and there comes this beautiful synthesis of them happening to the movie and the movie happening to them. The movie was impactful. It was happening, and whatever happened was dearly felt by tons of people, or at least a solid enough number of the right people. See, now all of a sudden the movie has become something of a cultural artifact. It's hard for a movie to do this in any capacity. Notice how so many goddamn movies come out. Notice how so much effort goes into marketing movies as memeable or part of some bigger franchise or idea. These are desperate attempts at getting the movie to stick around in the cultural psyche, but you simply cannot force cultural imprints upon a society. Cool people just make it happen when the opportunity arises. I try really hard to seek this out in the movies that I watch. I'm someone who's been disillusioned by my generation's vapid boorishness. I try to justify any movie's cultural relevance for the sake of justifying the cultural relevance of movies at all. Because at the end of the day, we want to see movies, right? Something that makes this easy for me is if I take a step back and try to boil the movie down to one key scene, a scene that I feel like defines the whole movie. Now, this is not something I came up with arbitrarily or out of an attempt to be reductive. In fact, I only started doing this in response to how I was hearing other people talk about movies as they decided whether or not it was culturally successful. For example, if the climax is a singular moment that everything else in the movie builds up to, I often hear people judge whether a movie was at all worth it based solely on how satisfying the climax was. And while I don't personally believe that one unsatisfying scene can render an entire movie disposable, what I am saying is that one particularly loaded scene can speak to a movie's entire price of admission and subsequent cultural staying power. I know this because I've seen it. I've seen it happen several times, and it's not always what you'd expect. Like in a big action movie, it's not the biggest set piece, but instead a particular line of dialogue or a character moment. In a horror movie, it's not the gnarliest scare, but rather the most unsettling piece of world building. There's a movie right there, I'm giving you a real example now, that is a highly stylized, excessively brutal homage to one of the most richly dramatized periods of ancient history. And this movie is generally well received on these merits. And yet, it is defined solely by its funniest scene.
This is madness! Madness. This is Sparta! This is Sparta! This is Sparta! This is Sparta! This is Sparta!
Every movie has its scene, and if that scene manages to resonate with enough people, then I can safely say that that moment in the movie was a moment that has now happened in real life. And we all saw it, and we all thought about it, and when we pass it down to future generations, we will talk about it as though we lived it. And I think we're going to have as many memories as we do about specific moments in real life as we do specific movie scenes. I feel very fortunate to have seen several movies happen in real time, and today I'd like to talk about a few of the scenes that have allowed them to stick. My personal favorite is from the 2007 Michael Bay film Transformers. People talk all the time about how they miss classic Hollywood, how there are old classics that define what a movie is supposed to be. They say that one line from that one really old movie from the 90s, the one that's like, honestly, bitch, I don't give a fuck. And in response to that, I usually bring up Transformers. But I mean, seriously, this movie has got it all. It's got fast cars, hot girl, funny gamer young man protagoman. The military discovers aliens, giant alien robot fight that for some reason the gamer man and the hot girl are squarely in the middle of. And the whole soundtrack is just Linkin Park. It's just Linkin Park. Transformers was also the first time I saw a movie with very good and tastefully executed CGI. See, I'm born 1999. I'm born right between Bug's Life and Jar Jar Binks. For my entire life, the next big thing in movies has just been advancements in CGI technology. So naturally, when you retrospect, a lot of movies from my lifetime are solidified as big tentpoles almost exclusively because of the quality of their computer-generated imagery. Given that, Transformers was the first time I remember CGI feeling very realistic and larger than life and destructive and powerful. The animations of cars unfolding and turning into giant alien robot gods are rooted in a naturalistic, calculated, and composed realism. You see, 7-year-old me was fully convinced that what I was seeing was entirely possible and probably actually happened. I've set my chosen scene early on, around the moment that Act 1 becomes Act 2, when the movie has established all of its weird alien shit and is now fully incorporating human protagonists into a fantasy plot. Meaning that the audience must now be fully invested in all of the crazy shit going on and have indeed been secured inside a story vehicle. Main character, the boyish Shia LaBeouf, got all A's this semester, which means his dad is gonna buy him his first car. This is some white people shit, by the way. Last time my friend Nong Shim got all A's, he had to go to Chinese Muslim summer camp. His dad pays $4,000 cash for some piece of shit that doesn't even work.
All right, Mojo, I got the car. Now I need the girl.
He's explaining the things that make the movie good. There's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that the girl gets along with you just fine.
Sam?
Why?
That was really awesome.
The bad news is the car's a fucking robot alien and it's going totally haywire. First it ruins your date.
You know what? I'm gonna walk. Good luck with your car.
No. Come on, please. Please, you gotta work for me now. Don't let her walk away. Come on. Please.
Then it ruins your life.
Stop!
You and the girl are together now. Your lives are in danger, but you got each other. Emerging from the earth into the sky is the coldest motherfucker of all time. Look at this shot.
Any more questions you want to ask?
He wants us to get in the car.
And go where?
50 years from now, when you're looking back at your life, don't you want to be able to say you had the guts to get in the car?
They didn't put this line in the trailer, and it's not the tagline on the poster. No, it's too epic for that. It's too grand. It's a giant thesis statement. Right here is the moment that we've all been waiting for, even though we didn't know it. This is our invitation into the vehicle. We'd be stupid, prudish, curmudgeonly not to get in. The problem with Transformers is a lot of guys, they just don't like it. I'm gonna give you guys one more non-Spider-Man example. This video is about Spider-Man, by the way. So my other pick for movieest movie has got to be Get Out. I mean, this movie oozes some of the most memorable and timeless shit I've ever seen on screen, period. Do you know what this movie is about? Okay, so there's this black guy, and he's nervous about visiting his white girlfriend's family because she hasn't told them that he's black.
Do they know I'm black?
No.
And they live out in the middle of nowhere, like on a farm. And there's a fucking reason why she hasn't told them that he's black. Listed genre, horror. I've met my fair share of girlfriends' racist parents. That shit's anxiety in the flesh. Thank God someone caught it on celluloid. And we show up to the house, and guess what? They fucking own slaves. No, okay, look, it's two things that happen in this movie. I gotta tell you the first so that you can understand the second. These are not slaves. These are domestic servants hired to keep the shit clean. It's a mad, uncomfy, and archaic connotation, but the whole white dad lets us know that he thinks it's fucking weird too.
I know what you're thinking.
What?
White family, black servants. It's a total cliche.
I wasn't gonna take you there.
No, we hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go.
How do you feel about this? I feel all right. I'm warming up. How about you? I don't know, because the very next words out of his mouth are...
I would have voted for Obama for a third term if I could.
And all of a sudden, back to square one. I'm just drenched, sweating all the way down my back. I'm not sure if you know this, but this shit is so on point that it is now like an archetype that we reference in very serious racial and political conversations. The I would have voted for Obama a third time white guy personality type. The life has imitated the art wholesale. I also really appreciate how as time goes by, that statement becomes less cringe on its surface as like a general sentiment considering our fucking current circumstances, but the fucking dramatic justification for saying it at all makes me want to shit my pants. So naturally, as a story like this goes, things are getting a little creepy over here. So our main character finds out that these black servants, who aren't actually slaves, act like enslaved humanoid robot things, as evidenced by how painfully awkwardly they stumble through basic conversations.
She is lovely, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
One of a kind, top of the line, a real doggone keeper.
And also, the clouds behind their retinas seemingly part and dissipate when you flash bright lights at them. It's just a little sci-fi trope for you. But while robotically enslaved, their goal is to trap our main character, to get him stuck here and then among their ranks. This ain't about giving Obama a third term. No. These guys would make Obama president forever if they could. So here's now the fireworks scene, all right? The girlfriend's parents are inviting the whole extended family over. Unbeknownst to our main character, they're all here to like study him to see how good of a slave he will be. I fucking love this movie. Hey Norm, run the clip real quick.
Some gold-plated chains would make a nice retirement gift for a very, very good slave. Well, this was,
Are you serious?
well, this was written.
Are you
This was
serious?
written,
So my guy's like super uncomfortable at the function, obviously. So he steps away for a sec to phone his buddy real quick, confide in a friend, vent, whatever. The slave lady overhears this conversation and freaks out because any contact with the outside world will spoil this whole operation. So she's slick with it, right? While he's gone, she unplugs his phone and then leaves it to die. The guy comes back. His phone is dead. Here's the scene.
Hello.
Hi.
I owe you an apology. How rude of me to have touched your belongings without asking.
Oh, no, it's cool. I was just confused.
Well, I can assure you there was no funny business. Allow me to explain. I lifted your cellular phone to wipe down the dresser, and it accidentally came undone.
Yeah, I
Rather than meddle with it further, I left it that way. How foolish of me.
It's fine.
Oh, oh, no, 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 no. Aren't you something?
I don't know how this actress even began to conceptualize, let alone actually perform, what appears to be a person trapped inside of her body, trying very futilely with their rapidly evaporating droplets of life force to crawl out of her own face. We got the fucking close-up on the wide angle, which results in this terrifying distortion that further emphasizes how her brain's got a fucking bulge in it. And then if you think about anything going on in this scene for longer than 5 seconds, you'll understand why I put it here. There's just levels to this shit, man. But then on top of that, all you really gotta know is that first one to get your fucking stomach churning. I invoked these examples specifically because they're pretty easy to explain. Transformers is rather self-explanatory. For everything that it attempts to say, there's a funny clown holding up an obnoxiously deafening cue card. As a director, Michael Bay is hell-bent upon this idea of spectacle, just making everything as loud and obvious and self-referential as possible. With that, you do not need to know or care about Hasbro's Transformers toys to know or care about what's going on in this movie. Just eat your fucking popcorn. John Turturro will explain everything. And then with Get Out, we're definitely dealing with a smaller audience, a more confined and demanding attention span, but the subject matter and genre conventions are culturally ubiquitous. The conversation that Get Out demands its audience to have, no matter how racist or not racist they are, a spike, roll the clip real quick.
Well, I've done my research.
These are Negroes we are talking about. We are not one monolithic group of people. We do not all think, look, and act alike, Ms. Goldfarb.
Mr. Delacroix, let me assure you, I got my PhD in African American Studies from Yale.
So you fucked a Negro in college
and... Excuse me. Let's keep this above the belt, okay? Show a little respect for this woman.
Yes, continue, oh great niggerologist.
Okay, notice how you saw that clip and you were like, I'm not sure if I'm feeling the way I should be feeling about this. Yeah, that's what every frame of Get Out works to shovel out of every audience member. It stimulates some real live discourse for the car ride home, and I think will continue to do so for generations, even after we solve racism. Wait, I thought we already solved racism. Because isn't Donald Trump president now? So Transformers, Get Out, this is culture, everyone knows it. Spider-Man as a movie comes with a little asterisk. See, I understand that Spider-Man's like the 4th most famous person in the world. We got Jesus, Santa Claus, they're fighting for the top spot, and then Donald Trump is probably number 3. So yeah, cultural ubiquity is baked into anything with Spider-Man's face on it. But you are still required to create cultural moments in your movies in order to have a seat at the table of this particular video I'm making here. That being said, I raised myself on a trilogy of movies called Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 3. And seeing as those movies happened when I was 2 to 7 years old, obviously I'm not the one that chose them, and I could not have chosen them with any faculties of taste or judgment. My dad's the one that chose them, and he at least chose that first movie because that's what everyone with children was doing that weekend. You got to get the kid to shut the fuck up for 2 hours. This pacifier costs $20. But these movies clearly worked on my impressionable little brain. So now when I put my nostalgia goggles on, these movies are everything. Not only do I have every shot, every line of dialogue, every sound effect memorized, and I can fucking perform it for you right now, 50k subs, I'll do it on Twitch for free, but I have unconditional love for all of them equally. Some more equal than others, but your boyfriend showed you Spider-Man 2 because post-nostalgia, that's the actually good one. The character stuff is poetically deep and dramatic. The movie's about Peter Parker failing to balance his great power with his great responsibility, and each and every scene provides truly relatable and imaginative and entertaining, interconnected and cohesive examples of what that looks like in the life of this Peter Parker character. Every plot point grounds itself in visceral stakes, but above all else, it's just got the best Spider-Man stuff in it. Like, every scene of Spider-Man swinging around the city is just so beautiful. The opening scene is so freaking exciting. Peter Parker's day job is delivering pizza, and he's running super late on this delivery. The only way he can deliver this pizza on time is if he Spider-Mans through the city. In the middle of him Spider-Manning, he sees two kids below, and they're about to get run over by fucking Optimus Prime, so he swings in and saves the day. And then, of course, there's the scene where Spider-Man uses his webs to stop a train that's about to barrel into the fucking ocean. There's the scene where Spider-Man loses his powers and fucking dies. There's this adorable shot where Spider-Man's gotta take the elevator. But then there's my favorite scene, which I don't know why this scene isn't just the trailer. See, there's a police chase, and it sends a car flying over top a bunch of unsuspecting civilians. But then we get this POV shot. The car gets trapped midair. The camera kind of turns the corner. The car is suspended by webs.
It's a web. Go, Spidey, go!
And then Spider-Man swings through the little fucking sliver between the truck engine and the cargo as the truck is crossing the street, and Spider-Man just fucking zips through it at impossible speeds. That's how the fuck you introduce Spider-Man. But, okay, if you've seen the title of this video, the ultimate point I want to make has nothing to do with Spider-Man 2. We're almost there. Bear with me for a sec. Let me put y'all on game. I had to tell you why Spider-Man 2 is so good so that you might be at least open to any further discussion about these particular movies. Because this first one's a little rough. This movie's real saving grace is Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. He looks like a Power Ranger, which I think is sick as fuck. In his performance, he's hamming it up.
Impressive!
And then his character is just this dangerous, destructive, terrifying terrorist of a villain. Tune in if only for that. Now, I used a word there just now that you should definitely not be using when talking about anything from New York in the early 2000s. One of the most culturally significant artifacts of the first Spider-Man movie has nothing to do with the movie itself, but rather the circumstances surrounding its release. Namely 9/11. That fucker Osama bin Laden truly robbed this great nation of many, many things, but the most tragic loss we endured was the scene where a bunch of bank robbers get into a helicopter and fly away, but then Spider-Man stops them by webbing the helicopter between the Twin Towers. But what do we get instead? We get big, beautiful CGI red, white, and blue goofily shoved into select shots throughout this entire trilogy. One thing I've learned over time is not a lot of people understand the process of synthesizing evidence to make a novel or nuanced point. Often people will just start out with like an untenable thesis, and then they make lanky reaches when they're presenting their evidence. I was reminded of this sad state of our modern cognitive abilities when I was Googling to see if there's anything I forgot about how 9/11 affected the production and the release of this movie. It turns out it actually didn't really, but that didn't stop the clickbaiters from writing their fucking articles. During Sam Raimi's press tour for Doctor Strange 2, fucking 40 years after he's done with Spider-Man, someone fucking asked him if he thinks Spider-Man helped people cope with 9/11. And all he says is, yeah, maybe, I don't know, what the fuck are you asking me for? It's like that one Dave Chappelle bit, roll the clip, Dave.
I'm Team Turf.
No, not that one, not that.
I remember right around September 11th, Ja Rule was on MTV. That's what they said. They said, we got Ja Rule on the phone. Let's see what Ja's thoughts are on this tragedy. Who gives a fuck what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this? Nigga, this is ridiculous.
So people really abuse this one very vague, out of context Sam Raimi quote to justify all this shit about how in those Spider-Man movies he like features all these New Yorkers because it's an homage to how we banded together after 9/11, or they'll say shit like, oh, Green Goblin was supposed to be the good guy, but then Sam Raimi changed the ending after 9/11. Like, no, shut up, shut the fuck up. Here's what Spider-Man was, okay? It's a cobbled together, big budget, special effects movie about how Spider-Man punches the Goblin. It was stuck in development hell for like 10 years, and in that time, there were like 20 different directors attached to it, and all of them left because they probably thought the movie was shit. The CGI and the action are all lame, and they look like dog shit because no one on the crew cared about what this fucking movie looked like. And in comes Sam Raimi, all right? He's a guy who cuts his teeth on no-budget horror movies. So Evil Dead 2 is so good that it's funny. It's a masterfully directed thrill ride where it feels like every single shot is the most creative possible idea for a shot he could have gone for, resulting in a great many moments that I can only describe as truly absurd. During his rise to fame, he was roommates with the Coen brothers, and they made a movie together called, I don't know, The Chud Fucker. It's about the invention of the hula hoop. Don't watch it. It's silly. The guy's silly. He makes movies that are silly. And here comes the Spider-Man gig, which he lands probably because no one else wanted it, and it probably made him miserable. Notice how he stopped making movies after the Spider-Man movies. Avi Arad, he's one of the producers. He's the genius behind these fucking Madam Web and Morbius and fucking Venom movies. I bet the whole time he was just pelting Sam Raimi with his stupid fucking god-awful ideas all the time. And Sam Raimi had to listen to his shit, or he probably wasn't gonna get paid. I'm not saying that Sam Raimi did a bad job or that the movie is awful. I'm just saying that with a giant corporate blockbuster like this, directors aren't hired for their ability to make good creative choices. So when you're watching movies like this, you kind of have to dig or pay attention to very specific scenes to find the moments where the director was actually allowed to direct. One such iconic feature of these Spider-Man movies that everyone points out nowadays is it's the way Sam Raimi directs his actors and his extras, and how both of those things are influenced by his horror movies. When I listed the iconic scenes from Spider-Man 2, I purposely didn't mention this scene where the villain, the Dr. Octopus, first awakens, because I wanted to talk about it here. This whole thing is straight out of a horror movie. Every camera angle and sound effect is so deeply unsettling, but then the icing on the cake is all the shots of people just screaming and running around, and women being dragged on the ground and screaming, shrieking, bloody murder. He does this a lot. Horror movies like the ones he was making rely a lot on cutting to shots of hot girls covered in blood, shrieking. Including shit like that is probably like an instinct to him. Like, he can't always have them screaming, so he'll just give them like a goofy or exciting shot, and then sometimes he can't make that shot goofy because Avi Arad told him the scene needs to be normal, so he'll just direct the actor all animated or something.
He stinks, and I don't like him.
I should mention that this first Spider-Man, despite how rough it is, it does do a lot of stuff beyond just this horror movie tropage. The spider bite scene is really eerie. The upside down kiss is obviously iconic. I already said Willem Dafoe is priceless, but J.K. Simmons and the whole Daily Bugle is also priceless. The dynamic between James Franco and Willem Dafoe is heavy enough to be the main storyline, and probably should have been. But the one thing about this movie that really hits home for me every time is the climax. So Mary Jane wakes up atop a bridge in this dizzying wonder, and then this ominous music kicks in, and then the fucking goblin comes in, and it's scary as hell, and he's kidnapped a bunch of children, and everyone's gonna die. Spider-Man comes in. The universe is truly hanging by a thread. He stretches himself impossibly thin, trying to save everyone at once. He's suspended in midair. He cannot move. Goblin circles back, pulls out the blades. He goes,
"It's time to die!"
Look at this fucking shot, man. Then Sam Raimi does his awesome anti-continuity thing where you see two things on the verge of collision, like 3 shots in a row. You see the third shot. By this time, you're like, this shit should have crushed this guy like 10 seconds ago. But the dramatics are here nonetheless. And then, wha-bam! These heroic saviors who descend from the heavens above, they start pelting the goblin with all this random shit. And this effectively buys Spider-Man some time. And then he saves the day. It's kind of a really sloppy scene. It's badly choreographed. It hinges on way too many coincidences, but what's this we're looking at? New Yorkers banding together? This must be a 9/11 thing. Actually, if I listen to enough people on the internet, I will find that this is a 9/11 thing. This scene is truly the film's most noteworthy cultural moment. The whole world got together and ate this shit up entirely due to how amazingly this scene helped them cope with 9/11. And it's this scene right here that allows Spider-Man to go toe-to-toe with the Oscar-winning film Get Out, with the multi-billion-dollar Transformers franchise, and with Gone with the Goddamn Wind. All right, listen, I'm almost there. I gotta reset the scene real quick. Okay, so we got a bus full of children, and a kidnapped Mary Jane, and a paralyzed Spider-Man trying to save them both. All of these people are on the brink of death because we've seen the Goblin's capacity for destruction. We know that he's a pure evil sociopath. He's an alter ego who's taking over an innocent man's body. And so he's going in for the kill. The stakes could not be higher. Breath is held, butt cheeks clenched, momentary relief, and then this guy comes in.
Oh yeah, I got some for your ass! I think you're freaking out! Oh yeah, I got some for your ass! I think you're freaking out!
The September 11th attacks involved 4 hijacked airplanes. 2 of them, of course, crashed into the Twin Towers, and the third one into the Pentagon. The fourth one, United Airlines 93, was the last to go down. It was headed for the Capitol building, but it ended up crash landing in the middle of nowhere. See, Flight 93's takeoff was delayed for some reason, which was, a godly coincidence, because by the time the terrorists had gotten a hold of the cockpit, the other 3 planes had already hit their targets, and the news of these attacks had reached the passengers. So they had time. They had information. They knew what was going on, and they decided that they weren't going to let this happen. The brave people aboard this plane got together and devised a plan to take back control. By now, they had witnessed a fellow passenger get murdered. The news of the day's attacks indicated how dangerous these hijackers were, and the terrorists themselves had announced to the plane that they had a bomb. If the passengers were to fight, they knew that they would lose, but at least they might have a shot at saving thousands of people below. And they did. The brave passengers got together, and they devised their plan. A passenger by the name of Todd Beamer attempted to call his wife just to tell her that he loved her before he left. Unfortunately, his call was routed to an operator, who he stayed on the phone with anyway. Beamer recited a prayer, then said to the operator, "If I don't make it, please call my family and let them know how much I love them." His heroic last words were to his fellow passengers when he asked them, "Are you ready? Okay, let's roll," which is probably a testament to the drive, the composure, the leadership, but most importantly, just the heroic bravery that this man had. And we get to hear the moment that he decided to put his life on the line for the goodness of so many people that he probably had no idea would have even been implicated. After he says, "Let's roll," the passengers stormed the cockpit. During the ensuing scuffle, the terrorists, who were quickly losing control of the aircraft, rerouted and resolved to crashing into a field. Although everyone on board died, the heroic passengers prevented this day from becoming any more of a tragedy than it already was. We should know their names, and we should honor their story. Now imagine if Todd Beamer had said to the terrorist, "Hey, I got something for your ass."
Oh yeah, I got some for your ass!
Well, according to some fucking people, this guy right here was Sam Raimi's touching homage to the thousands of lives lost and the thousands of lives potentially saved. Movie magic. Culture.